I thought he was my soulmate. He was just controlling me. He told me what to wear, who to talk to, when to smile, and I called it love. I was so wrong. My name is Sophia, and this is the story of how I lost myself completely and then found something I never expected. Part 1. The beginning of everything. I was 24 years old when I met Marcus. It was at a coffee shop on a Tuesday morning. I was late for work, my hair was a mess, and I had spilled oat milk on my sleeve. He was sitting by the window, reading an actual physical book, which already made him different from everyone else I had ever met. He looked up when I walked in. He smiled. Not the kind of smile that says, "You're pretty," the kind that says, "I see you." And I felt it in my chest like a small earthquake. We talked for 40 minutes. I was very late for work. I did not care even a little bit. His name was Marcus. He was 30 years old, worked in architecture, and had the kind of calm confidence that made you feel safe just standing next to him. He asked questions and actually listened to the answers. He remembered the name of my cat after I mentioned it once. He texted that same evening to ask if I had made it to work okay. I told my best friend Lily about him that night. "He sounds perfect," she said. "He really does," I said. And he was, for a while. Part 2. The little things. The first time Marcus told me what to wear, I thought it was sweet. We were going to dinner with his colleagues. I had picked out a green dress I loved, emerald, fitted, the kind of dress that makes you feel like yourself. He looked at it and tilted his head slightly. "Maybe something a little more understated," he said. "These people are kind of conservative. I just want them to take you seriously." I changed. I wore a plain navy dress instead. His colleagues were perfectly normal people who would not have cared either way. But I smiled and nodded and told myself he was just being thoughtful. The second time, we were meeting his friends at a bar. I had curled my hair. He ran his hand through it gently and said, "You look prettier with it straight, honestly." I straightened it. The third time, he commented on my lipstick. Too red, too bold. Not really his thing. I bought a nude one. None of these moments felt like control. Each one felt like a small act of consideration. He never raised his voice. He never used harsh words. He just had preferences. And I loved him, so I adapted. That is what you do for someone you love, right? That is what I told myself. Part 3. The friends. 6 months in, I noticed I was seeing Lily less. It had happened gradually. Marcus would make small comments. "Lily seems like she brings a lot of drama into your life." Or, "You always come home stressed after seeing her." Or simply, "I just miss you when you're gone. Is that so bad?" It didn't feel like isolation. It felt like being chosen. Like he wanted me so much that sharing me was painful for him. I found that romantic. I found that flattering. I started canceling plans. First occasionally, then regularly. Lily called me out on it once, directly, the way only a real friend can. "Sophia, I feel like I'm losing you," she said. "You cancel every time. And when we do see each other, you seem nervous, like you're watching the clock." "I'm just busy," I said. "Marcus and I are in that phase, you know how it is." She went quiet for a moment. "I don't think I like him," she said. I defended him. I told her she didn't know him. I told her she was being unfair. I drove home and told Marcus what she had said, and he nodded slowly like he had expected it all along. "I just think she's not used to you being happy," he said. "Some people can't handle that." I believed him, because I wanted to believe him, because the alternative meant looking at something I wasn't ready to see. Part 4. The phone. A year into our relationship, Marcus asked to see my phone. "I'm not going through it," he said, laughing softly. "I just want to add myself as your screensaver. Is that not allowed?" I handed it over without thinking. Of course. Why wouldn't I? But after that evening, something shifted. He started asking who I was texting. Not accusingly, just casually, the way you ask someone what they want for dinner. "Who's that?" he would say, glancing at my screen. "Just a work colleague," I would say. "Oh, the guy from your team? You mention him a lot. I stopped mentioning him. I started turning my phone face down when Marcus was in the room. Not because I had anything to hide, but because I had learned that transparency was easier than explanation. Explanation led to conversations. Conversations led to that look on his face. Not angry, never angry. Just quietly, deeply hurt. And I could not stand that look. I became very good at managing his feelings. I became an expert at predicting what would upset him and removing it before it became an issue. I edited myself constantly, instinctively, like breathing. I did not realize that was not love. That was survival. Part 5. The morning I did not recognize myself. It was a Sunday in February. Marcus was still asleep. I walked into the bathroom, turned on the light, and looked in the mirror. I stood there for a long time. The woman looking back at me had straight hair because someone else preferred it. She was wearing an oversized t-shirt because she had stopped buying the fitted ones he found too attention-seeking. She had not seen her best friend in 2 months. She had not laughed loudly in longer than she could remember because he found it embarrassing in public. She looked tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep fixes, the kind that lives behind your eyes. "Who are you?" I whispered. She didn't answer. I went back to the bedroom. Marcus was awake, scrolling on his phone. He looked up and smiled that smile, the one that had felt like a small earthquake on a Tuesday morning. "Morning, beautiful," he said. And I smiled back, and said nothing, and made us both coffee, and told myself it was fine. But something had cracked open that morning. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Part 6. The folder. It was 3 weeks after the bathroom mirror moment. Marcus had gone to the gym and left his laptop open on the kitchen table. I was not snooping. I was genuinely just walking past to get water. But the screen was open, and there was a folder on his desktop. It had a name that meant nothing at first, just a combination of letters. But something made me stop. Some instinct I had been ignoring for months finally spoke loud enough to hear. I sat down. I opened the folder. Inside were 4 subfolders. Each one had a woman's name on it. I recognized one of them immediately. His ex, Clara, who he had described as unstable and obsessive. The one he said had made his life very difficult. The one he had warned me about during our second date. My hands were shaking as I opened her folder. Inside were screenshots, conversations, notes in his own handwriting, a document that looked like a list, her insecurities, her triggers, her weaknesses, things he had learned about her and written down like research, like strategy. I opened the next folder. Another woman, same structure, same kind of notes, same pattern. Then the third, then the fourth. The fourth folder had my name on it. I sat in that kitchen for a very long time. The coffee I had made went cold. Outside, birds were doing their morning thing, completely unaware that my entire reality had just rearranged itself. My name was number 4. Part 7. The group chat. I did something that surprised even me. I did not cry. I did not call Marcus. I took photos of everything with my phone, closed the laptop exactly as I had found it, and I called Lily. She picked up on the second ring. "I need you," I said. "I'm already getting my keys," she said. She came over within 20 minutes. I showed her everything. She sat next to me at the kitchen table and went through it all without saying a word. When she finally looked up, her eyes were wet. "Sophia," she said, "we need to find the others." It took us 4 days. Clara was the first one we found, through a mutual connection on Instagram. I sent her a message that I rewrote 15 times before sending. Simple and direct. I told her what I had found. I told her my name was number 4. I told her I thought she deserved to know. She responded within an hour. "I've been waiting for this message for 2 years, she wrote. "I knew I wasn't crazy." She connected us with the second woman, a girl named Priya who lived across the city. Priya connected us with the third, a woman named Dana who had moved abroad specifically to get away from him and had spent months believing she was the problem. The 4 of us got on a video call on a Thursday evening. 4 strangers who had never met. 4 women who had all been told in different ways that they were too much and not enough at the same time. We talked for 3 hours. Part 8, what we did. We were careful. We documented everything. Lily's older sister was a lawyer and walked us through our options. We were not looking for revenge. We were looking for the truth to exist somewhere outside of our own heads. Clara had saved her own evidence from years ago. Priya had screenshots she had never deleted because she had always felt, somewhere deep down, that she might need them one day. Dana had a journal she had kept throughout the relationship, detailed and dated. Together, we had a record that was impossible to dismiss. We reported him, formally and completely. And then we did something else. We wrote about it. Not with his name, not in a way that was reckless, but clearly enough that women who knew him would recognize the patterns. We posted it together, all 4 of us, on the same day. The response was immediate, and it did not surprise us. 3 more women reached out within 48 hours. Part 9, the last conversation. Marcus called me the evening after we posted. I let it ring. He called again. I picked up on the 3rd call because I wanted to. Because I had spent a year managing his emotions and I was done doing it silently. I wanted him to hear my voice and know that I was not afraid of it anymore. "Sophia, I think we need to talk," he said. His voice was calm. It was always calm. "I agree," I said. "Whatever you think you found—" "I found a folder with my name on it," I said. "I found a document where you had written down my insecurities like a shopping list. I found 3 other women who all have the same story. I found everything, Marcus." Silence. "I never forced you to do anything," he finally said. "No," I said. "You didn't. You were much smarter than that." I hung up. And that was the last time I ever spoke to him. Part 10, what I know now. It has been 8 months since that Sunday morning in February when I looked in the mirror and did not recognize myself. I moved into a new apartment. Small, messy, entirely mine. My cat has claimed the sunniest corner. My hair is curly again. I have been wearing red lipstick every single day. Lily and I have dinner every Thursday. We talk too loudly and laugh at things that aren't even that funny, and I never once watch the clock. I still have hard days. Days where I question everything, where I wonder how I missed it, where I feel embarrassed that it took me so long to see what everyone around me apparently already knew. But then I remember what Dana said on that first video call, when we were all still strangers finding our footing. "He was very good at what he did," she said quietly. "That is about him, not about us." I think about that a lot. If you are in a relationship where you feel like you are constantly editing yourself, where love feels like a performance you are always one mistake away from failing, where you have forgotten what your own preferences are because his have slowly replaced them, please hear this. That is not love. Love does not require you to disappear. You are not too much. You have just been with someone who was threatened by how much you were. My name is Sophia. I was number 4, and I have never felt more like myself in my entire life. If this story hit close to home, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment below. You are not alone, and you are not crazy. You never were.